Hey guys, it's Morgan. Welcome back to the weekly Shlog here at Highland Cycles, which is my little tiny motorcycle shop in Western Colorado, where we fix cool stuff. We make things go faster. We make things work better. Richie comes in and does stuff. There he is. And yeah, this is a new week, new projects. We still have the pinton on the lift. I got a tool coming to get that flywheel off, so hopefully we can make that spark better. And the first thing on my lift for the Shlog is this. We're going to be putting a top end in the 23 300XC. I've already done that on my bike, but this is a customer's bike. So yeah, if you haven't seen that video, make sure you stick around. I've got a couple other things up my sleeve for this that is going to be pretty cool too. So yeah, if that sounds like fun, here we go. All right, guys, we got most of the stuff off of this, the ancillary stuff, seat, tank, radiator hoses are off. I've drained the coolant, getting ready to start taking other things off. But I want to show you something that I did not know when I did my first top end on my bike. And it didn't really cost me anything other than like frustration and not knowing what I was doing. But you definitely want to unhook the battery on these bikes. Honestly, that's a very good idea no matter what bike you're working on, because you don't want to accidentally hit the start button or something like that. If I'm honest, I don't always unhook the battery on other bikes because I feel like I can be careful enough not to hit the start button while everything's apart. But on this one, it's super important because if you don't do that and you take the power valve off, which we will have to do over here, the power valve actuator, excuse me, we'll have to take that off to get the cylinder off. It will like move with it if this is not if this is not unhooked, this will move, and then when you put it back on, it won't go on until you do some finagling, and then it'll show a power valve code and all the things. So first things first, before you actually really dig into it, make sure you unhook the battery. Again, I know that's a good practice all the time, so maybe I'll start doing it on everything. All right, next thing, guys, we're gonna unplug all of the electrical connectors and things like that. Then we're going to take the cylinder head off. I'm going to blow this thing off because it was actually really clean, but like most bikes, it's clean on the outside, but there's dirt on the inside. So we're going to take an air hose, blow all that dirt out of the way so it doesn't go down in the motor. Then we'll take the cylinder head off. And then the cool thing is, since we don't have a power valve actuator coming up from the transmission, we don't have to take all that apart. We can just slide this thing off. So yeah, let's get after it. All right, guys, so this plug on the power valve is kind of a pain in the butt to get apart. Hang on. Phone. Highland Cycles, it's Morgan. Hey. All right, sorry, guys. This thing, it's got this special little lock right here. Anyway, you got to be careful. You got to kind of pry up on this thing and pull. Anyway, just be super careful pulling that down because it's easy to break. So, and I don't know why. I guess it's just a super secure plug is why they use it. Anyway, take the rest of the bolts out, and they're all thread locked, so make sure you thread lock them when you go back on, and then this just comes off. Really easy. Power valve unhooked now. That's pretty awesome. Now we can actually take the cylinder head off, spark plug out, pop that sucker out, and then we'll slide the cylinder off. It's actually, these bikes are super easy to do a top end on. All right, guys, there's a BRA EIX. Kind of interesting burn on that. It's like almost a red color, definitely rich. So, yeah, I don't know about that. We're going to put a 7 back in it because I think 300s should take 7s. They just have forever, and mine runs great with a 7. Again, stay tuned. I got a few tricks up my sleeve with this bike. All right, guys, there we go. Definitely burning rich, especially on this exhaust side. It's pretty normal. It's a little heavier than I'd like to see. If you guys know much about the TBI bikes, they're all a little rich from the factory. I think KTM was knee-jerk reacting to the leanness and the, honestly, lack of durability on the TPIs. Someone's going to jump in here. I know my TPI's been fine. Fair enough, but a lot of them weren't, and they were definitely lean. And then people that didn't take the time to warm them up correctly, would do cold seizures and stuff like that. So I think they, like I said, knee-jerk reaction the other way on the fuel injection and put a whole bunch of gas, especially down low. The other thing that happens is when guys get on these bikes and warm them up, there's no choke. So when you turn the cold start off, all you're doing is actually shutting an air passage down. So you shut an air passage off. That's great. But if it's not actually all the way to temperature, then it's still in a cold map, and you take off and it sounds like it's loaded up and trying to clean out and all that stuff. It's because it's super rich until it gets up to a certain temperature. I think that causes the fouling of plugs too. So gonna get this all cleaned up. Now we're gonna yank the cylinder off, and we'll take a look at that. Woohoo! All right, guys, cylinder looks immaculate, which it should. The bike has very few hours. I don't know, honestly, how many hours are on this thing. And now I can't check because the hour meter requires you bumping the start button to find out. So I'll let you know at the end of the video when we fire this thing up. But this thing looks perfect, like for real, really, really good. So even the power valve is super clean. Probably gonna save this guy some money and not completely disassemble this power valve because it's crazy clean in there. It's gonna be hard for you guys to see, but it doesn't have any carbon buildup. It's kind of dark color, but no buildup at all. So I think we're gonna run it for another time. Like I said, it's gonna save him some time and money, which he'll appreciate. I'm gonna clean this out, make sure this is all good. You guys can see the new power valve actuator is interesting. So it that's closed, and then it comes open, and then you boop, and it opens the side ports when you do that. And you come back. So pretty neat system. It's got a left and a right on it, so you can't mix that up. This is obviously the side with the actuator over here. Goes through the cover. Looks great. We're gonna clean this up, make it look nice, get all the gasket stuff off of it, clean these surfaces really good. Let's go take a look at the piston. Piston looks really good. Not a lot of blow by. I mean, there's some obviously, but not a ton. Intake side looks really good. Everything looks good, nice and oily, just like what you want to feel. Now, let's bring this up. No play in the rod, no twisting play at all. It's absolutely perfect. Again, that's what we expect. Now on these guys, the way the stator is, you can see how it kind of bounced. It's real notchy when it when you're moving it. So it's kind of a little bit harder than the old style with that flywheel magnets on there. It's definitely a little bit more powerful than on the other ones. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this piston off. I'm gonna put a rag down in here, pop the circlip out, slide this all apart. I'm not gonna show you that up close. It's super simple. Biggest thing to know is get rags out in here so you don't lose a circlip in the bottom, because that sucks. Just trust me, it sucks. And so learn from my mistakes. And we'll get that all apart. Then we're gonna clean up these gasket surfaces really good, and then we're gonna start going back together. All right, I got everything cleaned up, got the gasket on here. I just wanna show you something real fast. A thing that sometimes gets overlooked is to check the top of the rod. There's a needle bearing here, so a lot of people just don't think about it that much on two-strokes. Like, it's fine. You will really want to take a good look at that and make sure there's no heat marks, no scoring, no pitting. This one obviously looks perfect. He's using plenty of oil in his gas, so that looks great. Just something to be aware of, guys. Just little things that when you do this a lot, you want to pass on that info so you don't miss something, put this thing back together, and then end up with a rod knock right away. Everything looks good there. Now I'm going to clean up the cylinder a little bit better, and then I'll show you how we check ring end gap. Also, guys, I always put a brand new wrist pin bearing in here at the shop. Now on my own personal bikes, I have gone 2 or even 3 pistons on one because they look perfect, but here at the shop, I don't take any chances. So also a little bit of this red line assembly lube, put that on there. So it's got a little bit of lube when it starts up, because The oil and the gas is going to take just a second to get there. So we'll put that in the rod and we'll get back here. All right, got a brand new Vertex piston. And a lot of you guys have been saying, oh, the old ones don't fit on the new bud. Incorrect. So there's all this talk about pistons hitting cranks and blowing up, and I'm sure it has happened. I have yet to see it, and I don't know how someone would put a bike together where it'd be that close. But let's take a look at this versus the one that came out. Looks identical. I think the skirt is identical there. Go to the other side. Window, I match it up. Looks the same. Obviously, it looks a little different because of the coating on the piston, but it's not. Piston pin location is the same. Ports are the same. Everything's the same. And if you look at this, this fits EXC300 TPI 18 through 23 SX300. So, yeah, there you go. Vertex piston. This is a Vertex piston. I think you can even see, yep, anyway, there's a Vertex number in there. So, all right, now, still got to do some cleaning on this, but I'm going to show you real quick how to check end gap, which is something you should do no matter what, even though, man, I can't even think of the last one I actually had to file or change. So I'm going to take our ring, put it in, take our piston, use that to get it flat. There we go. Now we got our feeler gauges. We're looking for about 9 thousandths, something like that. And there's a gap right up here. Just gonna come in here with the feeler gauge, make sure it goes through and hits the cylinder. And that one's actually tight. That one's actually really tight. I might end up having to grind that because. So let's see, 9 thousandths doesn't go. Let's see what does go, because the general rule of thumb is 3 thousandths per inch, and I know this is not exactly, it's close to an inch, so it's 1, 2, and a little bit, so that'd be like 6, maybe 7 or 8 thousandths, so let's try 7. So 7 goes, but it's tight. I'm gonna actually, this is crazy, this is the first time in a very long time, I can't believe it, but I'm actually gonna just touch these up with a file. Just a little flat blade file. Once I get 7 going clean, yeah. There we go. 7's clean, gonna run it. Now let's check this one. This one looks like it might be good right off the bat. Yeah, this one's good. So there we go. First time for everything, guys. Okay, it's not the first time I had to file one, but definitely first time in a while. So, all right, rings are good. Guys, I put them, there's a little mark on them. It's an N. I always put that up. Now, I'm not going to install these yet until I get the piston on the rod. What I am going to do is set this down here. We're going to install one of the clips here. So I like to do this on the bench, guys, and I plan it out. So arrow always goes like towards the exhaust or forward on a dirt bike, on 2 strokes at least. I guess Yamahas are backwards now, the 4 strokes. But so anyway, we'll line it up and figure out which side you want to work on. So I'm going to put the clip in the opposite side of the side I want to work on the bike. So I'm gonna put it over here. This is gonna be the left side because I want to work on the right. There's less stuff in the way. So now I put the pin in there to help hold the clip from going too far in. Now these KTMs are notorious for having really hard clips to put in. The easy clips are actually really nice, and just so you know, you don't have to buy those from Jeff Slavin's. You can buy them from KTM. Just go to, you can buy them from Rocky Mountain. Go to a KTM 380. Go to an 01 KTM 380 two-stroke, and those are the clips that came on it. So, but I do this enough that I don't really have a problem with it. I try to line them up, so I've got the clip opening down. Get that into the thing. Take just a pick. I'm going to rotate that in. Start there. Then I get a flat blade. I just slowly kind of work around, using that flat blade to kind of push it down. And patience is the key here, guys. Don't get in a hurry, because that's when you start scratching stuff. Tip just isn't quite as far in as we need it. Sorry, I know the camera work isn't the best. All right, we're almost there. Again, all about the patience. There we go. In. No scratches on the outside of the piston, totally fine. Now, I understand if you don't want to fight with that, you don't have to. It's a pain, but you saw it can be done. Just take it easy. So now I'm gonna go put this on the bike, slide this through. Gonna do this clip the same way. Honestly, the second one's way easier on the bike because something's A, holding the piston, and B, the pin can't slide too far out, so it's just got a nice thing to rest up on. All right, there we go. You can see, focus, if it'll focus. Oh, come on. Focus. There we go. No scratches on the outside of the piston. A little scratch on the pin right there, but totally fine. All right, now we're gonna put our rings on. Make sure you line the end gaps up with the pins in there. Don't mess that up. Base gasket choice. Someone's gonna ask me, someone's gonna lead with, I'm an engineer. So I choose on the thicker side of base gaskets. I don't measure and this and that. I don't put the thinnest one in. I don't put the thickest one in. I usually go towards the thicker side of the base gaskets that come with it. Gives it plenty of room to make sure it's not going to come up above the deck. Also, make sure it's not going to cause any problems with port timing or anything like that. So it's always been good. I've never had a problem with that. Now I'm going to go finally clean this cylinder and then we'll slap it on here. All right, guys, got the head insert all cleaned up. It's interesting because they put a QR code and then SX300 and then the part number in there, which I guess is kind of nice. But if you know anything about two-stroke cylinder heads, anything that creates a hot spot or could create a hot spot could be bad and create detonation. So I don't know why they do that. I think, hang on, I'm gonna grab the other one. Yeah, so this is the spare one I had for my bike, stock one. And look, they put the markings on the outside, SX300, no part number, but there's no part number on the inside. And I can say that this had a big carbon buildup right there. So that would definitely create a hot spot, or could, and cause pre-detonation. So I don't like that very much. I don't know why they changed from that, because this is off of a 23. This is actually, I ordered this before my bike even showed up. So I don't know why they changed, but it's not the end of the world, but it just doesn't seem like a great idea. All right, I'm gonna go put this on, put the cap on, and I'll show you how we put the power valve and stuff back on here in just a second. All right, guys, now got the power valve covers back on. Time to take our power valve actuator, and it should be pretty well lined up. So kind of check that, look at that. Okay, it looks pretty good. Should just go on. Boom, and it does. That is awesome. It did not do that the last time because like I said, I didn't unhook the battery. And I'm not sure 100% why it does what it does, but it does. So now I'm gonna get some stuck nuts thread locker, put that on there, and then we'll put our cover back on that helps protect all these wires and stuff. And it's pretty cool. They have these points for zip tying here and where's the other one? Here to help hold all that stuff in place. All right, guys. Now I know I told you I had something up my sleeves on this bike, and it is the use of this, the ERM, because one of the things that has been wrong with a lot of these bikes is the throttle position sensor voltage has been off. Like they didn't get set right from the factory. And it's super easy to check a couple different ways, but it's really easy with the TSP setup. So I think it's going to work even though it's not paired to this bike. I can't map this bike. I can't put a map into this motorcycle, but I'm pretty sure I can read all this stuff. So let's see if that works out. So I'm going to plug it into the port back here. And actually, before I do that, I need to hook the battery back up. So get the number plate out of the way here real fast. Plug it in. Definitely turns on. All right. Looks like everything's working here. Throttle open. Okay. Now, let's go. So let's see if we got any codes. First of all, we can read codes. No codes, that's good. Calibrate throttle. So now we're going to calibrate throttle. We're going to hit begin. We'll leave it closed for a little bit. Then we're going to turn it wide. I'm going to let go. I'll turn it wide. Let go. Save throttle calibration. All right, now what we're going to do is going back to our dash. And what we can do, with everything out of the way, we're just going to back the throttle out till it's not touching anything. And we're going to back the cold start all the way out. So I got to, it stopped moving. Let me show you guys here if we can get close. I don't know if it's going to. So it stopped moving and it's at 0.4 volts. So this one's actually set perfectly. That's super cool. You see that negative 3.8 throttle. So now that's because it was, you know, opened for idle. Now what we'll do is we'll go back till that says 0 and we'll know we're right where we want to be. Now, you got so 0 throttle, 0.57 volts. Absolute throttle, that's what you want. So perfect. This one's also reading just the 0.7 volt battery voltage. So it must be something about these TBIs where it's not reading the battery voltage correctly because it doesn't change. But we're good. Now I'm gonna put the tank on here, hook everything back up. We've already got coolant in it. I'm gonna fire it up, make sure it sounds good, runs good. I will use this dash to watch the coolant temperature come up and all that good stuff. Make sure it gets all the way up to temperature, and then we'll unhook all of it. Then we got to do fork seals on this bike. All right, guys, got the motor all done. Bike runs and starts good, like it's supposed to. Happy about that. Fresh top end. I told you I'd let you guys know it's got 108 hours on it. So that's what a top end looks like on one of these. At 108 hours. I think mine was really close to that, just over 100 too. So looks like they're good. I think this next one on mine, I'm going to push to 150. So that will be at 250 hours. So we'll check in on that next time. So now it's time to do forks. These are the air forks. This is a 23. So it's got the last version of the exact AER fork. So air chamber, damping chamber. I've got full videos on this. If I find anything super interesting, I'll bring you in. Otherwise, I'm just going to get this work done and get after it. All right, guys. So big news here on the Shlog. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier on the Shlog or not. I'm not going back through the footage to look. Couple things. First of all, huge, massive thank you to Insta360 for reaching out and bringing us on board as an Insta360 affiliate, ambassador, or whatever you want to call it. We're actually not doing their 360 camera. They've already got that out and it's been doing really well, but they have just released this, the Ace Pro, their flagship action cam. This thing is rad. Let me just show you a couple things about it here real fast. So, you know, it's basically shaped like a GoPro and all that stuff, but here's one of the cool things. Full-size screen on the back, but then if you want to frame your shot, you can go like that, and it goes. And I'm going to try turning it on. I haven't even turned this thing on yet, so let's see what it's going to look. Oh, now I got English. Oh, I got to go activate it. But anyway, I'll go do that. By the way, guys, there's going to be a ton of content coming on this. I'm not going to go into it right now. It's just really slick, and they sent me everything that you can get for it: chin mount, motorcycle bundle, multi-mount, horizontal mount, quick release mount, charger, extra battery, mic adapter, screen protectors. They sent me this really cool thing. This is a GPS screen / watch / anyway, it allows you to preview, and then it also collects GPS data and will display that on the screen if you want, like speed and all that good stuff. So
take a look at Tony's bike.
Leandra has something to show me today. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
It's like, I need it by Tuesday. I'm like Tuesday? I didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah. So anyway, that is super rad. I'm really excited to try all this stuff out. We're gonna go deep into that thing. Can't wait. But here's the cool part. You guys know I've been waiting for my beta 300RR race, and I'm super excited to announce that it's here. So let's go take a look. If you guys haven't seen yet, make sure you check out the beta videos. They're already up. Most of you will have already seen it, but let's just go take a look at it. Ba, 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 ba. There she is, Cecilia, the 2024 Beta 300RR race. I have already done a ton of work to it, completely taken apart the frame and chassis, greased everything. It actually already had grease on it, but I checked it all to make sure there's enough grease on there. We added Molecule Motorsports handguards and skid plate. We did the Spanish Fly spark arrestor and cut this down a little bit, which makes this a little bit nicer looking. Really won't change the way that the bike runs. I didn't cut enough off of it, nor can I feel that much of a difference. I got Bulletproof Designs disc guard and radiator guards. Did the Samco thermostat delete. Got rid of that. Got a Spartan MX headlight, which is really sweet. Did the Fox Enduro little pluggy guy bypass, basically, so the headlight and taillight are just always on while the bike's running. We did these. These are sweet Costa special parts clicker adjusters to put in here so I can get to them, because the bars are like right in the way on these KYBs. Mako 360, best mod you can do. We got rid of the dumb blue thing that was on here, and right now the map switch is just hanging out here, but we do have a part coming to mount that in a different place from Dan North at True North Motos. We did the extreme parts buttons. We got rid of all the crazy BS that they put on here. It's fine for dual sport stuff and all that, but like, I do not need that in my life. So we got start over here, kill over here, and that's it. Super simple. And we did Mr. Wolf moose balls in the tires, and that's about it. I mean, that's a lot. It took all day, but yesterday. But now I'm gonna go ride it. No, not right now, but today or tomorrow, I'm gonna go ride the thing, and we're gonna check it out as a stock bike. Now, obviously, I put some things on it, but performance-wise, it's bone stock. Stock tires, stock gearing, stock suspension, stock motor, all that good stuff. If you have not watched the video of me disassembling this thing, make sure you do, because I show you the cylinder head with the two plugs. It's kind of a funky thing, but it's there. I talk about what I feel about that. Yeah, guys, so excited about that bike. So excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's beautiful, except for the headlight mask, but I can get over that. Yeah, I'm really pumped about having a completely different motorcycle than normal. And we got lots more stuff to do to it. Lots more content coming, just so you know. We're going to be valving the suspension. We got more guards and things to put on it. yeah, we got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm turning this thing into a specific hard enduro motorcycle, which I'm really excited about. Yeah, let's go back inside. All right, guys, trying out the Insta360 Ace Pro right now. See my fingers in the way. We're gonna move that. There we go. This thing is jammed up with a ton of different features that are going to take me a long time to figure out. So, but I'm using the little flip-up screen right now, which is super cool to be able to see that. Also, this is testing the microphone. I have no idea how this sounds right now. We're going to find out when I put it onto the Shlog. But this thing is pretty cool, guys. The stabilization seems like really, really good. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you stick around, subscribe, blah, 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 all the things. I'm going to be shooting a video on the beta with this starting tomorrow. So I'm going to be using this thing. Going to use the chin mount. Probably try out the watch thing. I don't know, whatever. We're going to try lots of things. It's going to be a long kind of learning process. It took me a long time to figure out GoPros, so it's going to take me a while to figure this one out. But I already think it's pretty rad. So yeah, now let's get back to normal shop stuff. All right, guys, that's the end of the week, the end of the Shlog. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I got out on the new beta. Spoiler alert, it's super duper fun. I really, really like that motorcycle. I think it's got a long way to go to be on par with my KTM, but that's expected because I've had the KTM for a year and I've done a boatload of work to it. But it's really good out of the box, and it's so different than the KTM. I think it's going to be a great addition to the quiver of motorcycles. Anyway, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. If you're new here and you just watched all the way to the end of this video, please consider subscribing. Punk Rock Club, you know I love you the most out of everybody on earth. You're my favorites. I hope you guys get out, spread the gospel of two wheels, and I desperately hope that what we're doing here is inspiring you guys to work on, but way more importantly, get out and ride your dirt bikes!